Hi, it's Phil from Mechalak, Australia. We're going to show you the Mechalak REVOTRUCK. This is a 9-ton site dumper, new to Australia and the whole world. This has a revolving cab, which you can activate from a slide switch on the joystick in the cab. We'll show that in a minute. The changes on this machine compared to a traditional site dumper are, one, the cab rotates, but also we have four-wheel steering instead of articulated steering. This gives a strong advantage in turning circles. So the turning circle is halved in comparison to a normal Arctic site dumper, but also the stability is significantly better. With a full load, when you're turning, the center of gravity stays in the middle of the machine instead of Arctic where the center of gravity will come out, which loses stability. So as you might have experienced before, when you're turning on a bit of a slope or into a pile, it can get a bit unsteady on site dumpers and they're known for going over. The four-wheel steering helps address that. So here's our cab as we walk around. Technically speaking, explaining the cab, we've got doors either side, so we can enter and exit the cab any orientation. So we've got either side and also front or back. So there's 4 different ways to get out of the cab, so you can get in and out no matter which direction it's changing. You don't have to rotate around to get out of the machine. Instead of having a flashing beacon up on top of the cab, we have 4 beacons, one on each corner below the cab. So we have 360-degree view of the flashing beacon, but it's away from getting damaged. This helps keep our overall height down. So that's another advantage of the REVOTRUCK. Compared to some other dual view dumpers on the market, we're about 520 millimeters shorter on overall height, which is a lot. So when we're transporting on a standard truck, the REVOTRUCK will fit, whereas a conventional style dumper won't fit. So most of the time you'll need to use a low loader, whereas with the REVOTRUCK, you can just put it on a normal float and off you go. We've also got fitted the green seatbelt light, not required in Australia, but it shows that the seatbelt's on for the operator. Quite handy to try to get guys in the habit of wearing the seatbelt, which you'll need because you're doing up to 25 kilometers an hour on these, similar to a normal dumper. It's hydrostatic drive and 4-wheel drive, of course. We have really good work lights. So 4 forward-facing work lights, LED, of course, and on the back we have 2 rear-facing, and we have our aircon filter up there as well, wiper on the rear, emergency stop is here, and wiper on the front. Have the radio and the UHF as well, obviously fitted. Then we've got driving lights with indicators, both sides. We also have the cameras, so there's a camera facing forward here. So there's a camera on the opposite end as well, we'll show you that. So here's our other rear-facing camera. Also, we have another light here as well. We got travel alarms both sides as well. So when you rotate the cab around, the camera will automatically switch on the display to show what's behind you. So you can see in front of you, of course, but then whatever direction you're not facing is shown on the camera. So coming into the engine bay, unlike a normal site dumper, and the reason why our height is so low, our engine is between the cab and the skip. Whereas most of the time you'll find that the engine is below the below the cab, making the cab higher. We have a big range of articulation, so we can still rotate through this oscillation joint. So that gives us really good off-roadable, but we don't have the turning there, which gives us really good stability. This is this side of the engine bay. So these top covers are easily removed if you need access, but all servicing is done from either side with these side doors. Air filter, alternator, fuel filter. Here's our diesel fuel point. So this is behind the locked door, of course. Fuses, quite simple. In here we have the battery, so it's a lockable battery box with the isolator inside. Big flotation tyres, all 4 are the same size, of course. These lights that we have here are LED and they reverse direction where required. Coming onto this side, we can access the other side of the engine. So they're a 75 horsepower Perkins motor. They're DPF but not AdBlue, so we don't need AdBlue. Here we've just got access to the hydraulic tank, some fittings, some valve work and the hydrostatic pump. So coming up into the cab, We can enter both sides, of course. This is the side that the panel's on. So lots of room inside the cab. So this is the view from the operator. This is our control joystick. So this will do our skip, left, right, up, down. Then we have our travel direction. And we have our slide switch here for rotating the cab. We have a neutral button. And then here we have an automatic skip return feature. I'll show you that shortly. Here we have different modes. We have our parked mode, our working mode, and our road mode. All of these are shown here. A UHF is fitted here. We have some fuses behind here. In here is a bay you can put your phone in. We've got USB charging points and a 12-volt accessory point here. Across to this side, we have an emergency stop inside. A cup holder here. Wiper bottle refill is there. And in here we have a large cavity with the aircon in it so you can keep your lunch and water cold. It's an air suspension seat, which is adjustable on the bottom slide and adjustable for weight. And this console is also adjustable, so we can slide the console backwards and forwards to get your arm length right for when you're on the seat. It's hydrostatic drive with automatic park brake. So I'll slide us around with the cab rotation. So that's just on this slide switch, and then we rotate all the way around. If we want to travel forwards, we just press our green button. Now we're traveling forwards. Steering is in four-wheel steering mode, and we can change that on the screen. So we press this button, and then we can change into which mode we'd like to operate with. We can press our alarm to turn that on and off for the travel alarm. We have our aircon controls here, radio controls here, and some settings here. We can turn our work lights on and off here. So I'm currently going in reverse. I come around, lift my skip up, and then I'm going to rotate to tip over the side. So now that I've tipped my load, on the REVOTRUCK we don't need to manually bring everything back. What we can do is use this return to home button. So all you do is hold this down, and as it's returning, we can slide around. We don't need to keep watching it. We can turn around and face the direction which we want to travel. Then we can start traveling. So we're going in this direction, and off we go. The skip is still returning itself down. So we're off driving already to get the next load. If I want to drive back the other way, I turn around and my visibility is still good. The camera is still facing forward so we can see what's happening in front of the skip, and we can still see fantastic out of the cab. The visibility is fantastic. For the speed, you're limited to 20 kilometers per hour when you're in four-wheel steering and 25 kilometers an hour when you're in two-wheel steering. The visibility for dumping is fantastic. From the cab you can get to the right angle and see exactly what you want to do. Again, to return the skip, all we have to do is press the button and the skip will work itself out. We can swing the cab around as we did before, and off we go. Hope this gives a good insight into the new Mechalak REVOTRUCK.